I've been asked a bunch of times now, which is the better bike, the Triumph Scrambler 900 or the Moto Guzzi V7? Well, it's complicated. But really, the answer is the Moto Guzzi V7. Specifically, the Moto Guzzi V7 Sport. This is the 2026 Moto Guzzi V7 Sport. I've owned it for only about 700 miles now, a few weeks. I owned the Triumph Scrambler 900, which was a 2024, for over a year and somewhere around 10,000 miles. So I know that bike very well. I'm getting to know this bike pretty well. But again, I've only got 688 miles on the Moto Guzzi. To answer the question, which is the better bike, requires me to answer two questions, I think. Which is actually the better bike, and which is the better bike for me? On the latter question, I think it's pretty clear in my mind that this is the better bike for me, the Moto Guzzi V7. Which is the better bike in actuality, in reality, quality-wise, ride-wise, all that stuff? Well, let's dig into that. So Triumph is renowned for its build quality, and I'll give them that. The Triumph Scrambler 900 was built really well. Every Triumph that I've ever ridden has been built really well, including the 400s, which are their sort of budget line. So I have no qualms about the build quality or the overall quality of the Triumphs. There's a lot of preconceived notions about the build quality of the Moto Guzzis, especially with the electronics. But as with most motorcycle companies, Moto Guzzi has come a long way in the past few years. I put 10,000 miles on my Moto Guzzi V85 TT earlier this year, riding it back and forth across America. And outside of one small oil leak that wasn't the bike's fault at all, I had zero problems with the bike. Mechanically, electronically, anything. It was absolutely perfect. So I have very few concerns about the quality right now of current Moto Guzzi motorcycles. One of the things I'd say about Triumph motorcycles, and Triumph Scrambler 900 in particular, is I think that they're slightly overpriced. And by slightly, I mean they're pretty much overpriced. I was pricing out a Triumph Scrambler 1200 XE before I bought the Moto Guzzi, and those things go for about $16,000. Why? I don't know. So you say, okay, well, I'm not going to spend $16,000. I'm going to get the Triumph Scrambler 900, and that's what, $10,000, $11,000? I'm going to save a bunch of money. Well, here's the problem with Triumph. Triumph kind of screws you a little bit in that when you buy the model down, the 900 as opposed to the 1200, you're getting 5 gears, you're getting no option for cruise control, you're getting terrible suspension, and in general you're not getting as quality of a motorcycle as you are with the 1200. Now I get that, right, because the 1200 is the top of the line, the 900 is in the middle. However, what Triumph does, outside of giving you like a 5-speed instead of a 6-speed, is not only do they not give you cruise control, they don't even give you the option for cruise control. And stuff like that really makes me crazy when it comes to motorcycle companies. There is zero reason why Triumph can't offer the option of cruise control. I'll pay the $400 or whatever it is to buy the fucking thing and have it installed, but at least give me the option. But Triumph won't give you the option. There's no reason for it, technically. They could do it, and everyone would be happy, but they won't, because they know there are people like me who really don't want to own another motorcycle that doesn't have cruise control. It's not a convenience thing for me, because I ride thousands upon thousands of miles a year, and having the cruise control means that I can relax my wrist a little bit every once in a while and not have to worry about the bike slowing down. I have carpal tunnel syndrome, and it's important for me to sort of air it out every once in a while, and I can't do that on a bike that doesn't have cruise control. Sure, I could add an Atlas cruise control or whatever mechanical cruise control things to the Triumph Scrambler, and I did when I had the Scrambler 900. But those are a pain in the ass. So it drives me crazy that Triumph plays those little games and still charges you ridiculous prices for their motorcycles. I wanted to step back and say I love Triumph motorcycles. 3/4 of my clothing says Triumph on it. So I'm definitely a Triumph fanboy, don't get me wrong. I just happen not to own a Triumph motorcycle right now. And so I have a little bit of perspective. I can step back and say, here are the things that I've loved about the 4 Triumphs that I've owned, but also I'm going to be a little bit critical and say, you know what? offer me cruise control on the Scrambler 900 because you know you can do it, you just refuse to do it because it's not good marketing. Whatever, I don't know. The other thing I'll say about the Triumph, and this is where I'm gonna start talking a little bit more about the Moto Guzzi, is I no longer love the idea of purely ornamental things on my motorcycle. On the Triumph Scrambler 900, it has the upswept pipe, right? The Scrambler pipe. Now, you know that going in, but there's actually no real reason for it to exist. No one's gonna be going into 6 feet of water on a Triumph Scrambler 900. It's not built for that. The upswept pipe is there purely for looks, and I get it, and it looks awesome. And when I put the aftermarket pipe on it, it sounded friggin' amazing, it looked amazing, it was fantastic. But it was unnecessary. And so are the fins on the engine block, right? It's a liquid-cooled motorcycle, and the fins on the engine block are there purely for aesthetics, purely for decoration. And I get it. It makes it look older. Some of the older Triumph Bonnevilles, I believe, had like fake carburetor covers. It looked like a carburetor. It was just covering the throttle bodies or something. I don't know. My mom and dad, when I was growing up, owned a used furniture store. And my dad could spot a reproduction piece of furniture from a mile away. And I grew to really hate reproductions and stuff like that. Like, either give me the authentic original or make something new, but let's not try to copy the past. So that gets me to the Moto Guzzi. The Moto Guzzi V7 has been alive and well for the past 300 years, something like that. I have to Google it. It took a little bit of a break, but it hasn't really changed much at all since the day it was introduced, right? You know, obviously it has, like, this one has fuel injection, it has ride-by-wire, it's got cruise control, it's got upside-down forks, it's got all kinds of shit. But in essence, the essence of this motorcycle hasn't really changed much in the past 50 years. There's nothing on this motorcycle that I would say is really ornamental. It's there only just to look good. Everything is functional, and there's something about that I really appreciate. The fact that the Moto Guzzi still fits in style-wise after all of these years and hasn't really changed at all, I think says something about the original design. And I love the fact that the engine has fins because it needs them, because it's air-cooled, you know? Stuff like that. I love the fact that the heads jut out the side so you can just remove the covers and do your own valve adjustment and stuff like that. There's just stuff about this motorcycle that I don't see in any other motorcycles except for, I hate to say it, but maybe something like a Harley. The Harleys haven't really changed much over the years. They've stayed true to their design. Sure, they've gone to belt drives and fuel injection and all that stuff, but the essence of the Harley Davidson is pretty much the same, right? And that's the way I feel about the Moto Guzzi. I know where it was built. I know it was built by a bunch of Italian guys who put the engine on a table and put it all together. And I'm an Italian guy, and there's something about the heritage of the motorcycle that really clicks in my brain. I don't know what it is. Well, I know what it is. I'm an Italian guy, and I appreciate Italian craftsmanship. I know that Italian craftsmanship gets a bad rap, but you know what? Deal with it. All that said, the Moto Guzzi, at least the 2026 version and the 2023 V85 TT that I had previous to this, the build quality was absolutely excellent. The quality of the parts themselves was fantastic. This bike doesn't have plastic in places that it doesn't need plastic. I'm just saying, it's not like this plastic thing. When you sit on it, you feel the absolute quality of this motorcycle, more so than I did when I sat on the Triumph Scrambler 900. So, is this motorcycle a better motorcycle than the Scrambler 900? Well, I need to be specific and say, is the 2026 Moto Guzzi V7 Sport a better motorcycle than the 2024 Triumph Scrambler 900? In my opinion, I don't think there's much of a contest. I think this bike blows the Scrambler away. Now, I wouldn't necessarily go off-roading on this bike like I did on my Scrambler, so if you're looking for something that's off-road capable, then, you know, the Scrambler's a natural choice. But purely for road riding and the kind of riding that I do, you know, touring and adventuring and all that stuff that's mainly paved, I think the Moto Guzzi V7 Sport is a better bike. It comes with cruise control. It comes with upside-down forks. It comes with dual Brembos up front. It comes with a really nice, bright LED headlight. The upside-down forks are preload adjustable. The back is preload adjustable. I do think that the Moto Guzzi V7 Sport is a better motorcycle than the Triumph Scrambler 900. I'd even go so far as to say it's built better, that it's built with better components, and that it's just a more quality machine. Getting back to the other question about whether the Moto Guzzi V7 Sport is a better motorcycle for me than the Triumph Scrambler 900, I would have to say 100% yes. And this is coming from someone who absolutely adored the Scrambler 900. I didn't even mind the fact that it was a 5-speed. I actually kind of liked it. I thought that the gearing on that bike was just about perfect. I do think it could have used a 6th gear because there's really no reason why it shouldn't have had a 6th gear. But again, Triumph didn't give us a 6th gear because that would have eaten into Scrambler 1200 profits. And I don't know, it's just all of that is just so crazy to me. This is a better bike for me because of the heritage of the Moto Guzzi brand, because I'm an Italian boy and I love the fact that I can hop an airplane. I can go to the little town on Lake Como in Mandello Delario and see exactly where this bike was made, and potentially by the guys who actually put it together. I think that's fascinating. I think it's fantastic, and I think it adds to the allure and the character of this machine. Where the hell was my Triumph Scrambler 900 made? I'm not even sure exactly what country it was made in. I have no idea where the parts came from. I don't know anything about the origin of that motorcycle. I think it was made in Thailand. I don't know, Malaysia? Who knows? This bike was made on the shores of Lake Como in Mandello Delario in beautiful northern Italy. I love that. I just absolutely adore that. The only outstanding question here about the Moto Guzzi versus the Triumph is reliability. Again, I did 10,000 trouble-free miles on the Moto Guzzi V85 TT. I also did 10,000 trouble-free miles on the Scrambler 900. So if this Guzzi matches the reliability of my previous Guzzi, then reliability is sort of off the table. Both bikes are reliable. I will say that the Triumph Scrambler 900 had a 10,000 mile service interval, whereas this has a 6,000 mile service interval. But I could probably do the 6,000 mile service on this bike in my sleep. I've never adjusted valves before, but I've watched enough videos now that I'm pretty sure I could do it blindfolded. It looks so easy. Doing it on the Scrambler 900 requires pretty much disassembling the entire bike. And yeah, I'm not doing that. Also, just getting back to the bikes themselves, this bike kind of screws, especially when you put it in sport mode. There's something about the power delivery that I find much more pleasing than I did the parallel twin on the Triumph Scrambler 900. I love this engine. I love it. I love it. I love it to pieces. It's got character where the Scrambler's engine didn't. I mean, the Scrambler's engine certainly had character. It just didn't have nearly the amount of character as this engine. And I guess if I'm going to wrap all of this up, what I would say is, as someone who's been doing this for a while now and has been through a ton of bikes just to kind of really learn what my taste is, I've really come down to the fact that the most important thing for me in owning a motorcycle is that it has a little bit of soul. Soul, reliability, and the ability to do the thing it's supposed to. This bike has all of that, just like my Royal Enfield Himalayan 450 has all of that. And so I'm pretty happy with my current stable of motorcycles, and if I had to choose right now between a brand new Scrambler 900 and a brand new Moto Guzzi V7, I'm taking the brand new Moto Guzzi V7 all day long. If you enjoyed this video, please consider clicking the like button, and if you want to see more, hit that subscribe button. Otherwise, check out this video. I hear it's pretty good. I haven't watched it, but I don't know. I'm told that it's pretty decent. Let me know. I'll catch you on the next one.